Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're back with another Star Wars video. If you're new channel, welcome. This is another video by Red5. So shout out and credit goes to Red5 for the video, as always. And this one is the top most powerful armors in all of Star Wars. Now, one of the armors that just like come to mind as to like some of the most powerful armors is, in my opinion, Beskar, which is worn by Mandalorians. I mean, the metal itself is very, very rare. So I mean, if I say the Mandalorian TV show did an amazing job like explaining it, because people kept on going after the armor because of its value. And on top of that, what makes it so strong is that lightsabers can't even cut through that armor. So that's why the Mandalorians were considered a very formidable opponents against Jedis and other Force wielders. But I wonder what the other 9 armors are. So I'm really curious to see what Red5 has to say. So without anything else, let's just jump into the video.
Armor in Star Wars isn't just about protection, it's about survival in a
See?
galaxy
The Mandalorian.
filled with deadly threats. Whether it's designed to absorb blaster fire or eat direct lightsaber strikes, the strongest armor types give their wearers a fighting chance in an otherwise brutal universe.
Oh, Vader's armor,
From
yeah.
elite combat droids to armor so strong it makes a mockery of physics, we're counting down the 10 most powerful armors in all of Star Wars. Number 10, Commando Droid Armor. B1 and B2 battle droids formed the bulk of the Separatist droid army, but BX series commando droids were in a league.
Oh yeah, no, now I remember. He's probably gonna mention it too, but it was the episode from Star Wars, Clone Wars, the Rookies. There we go. I remember that Captain Rex and Commander Cody came to like inspect the Rishi Moon outpost, and I think it was Commander Cody that like shot the BX Commander droids. He shot one of the droid like 3 times, and then it didn't even, and then it just came right back and started shooting again. And I was like, man, dude, that is some really tough armor.
Of their own, faster, deadlier, and you guessed it, far better armored. Unlike standard battle droids, which were cheaply made and designed for mass production, BX droids featured advanced composite armor plating that made them significantly more resistant to blaster fire and melee attacks. This armor was lighter and more flexible than the bulky Durasteel plating on B2 super battle droids, allowing commandos to maintain peak mobility while still enduring direct hits. This increased durability made BX droids ideal for stealth missions, boarding operations, and close quarters combat against clone troopers. They could take several blaster bolts before down, something that standard battle droids could never dream of.
It was Cody.
Despite their advantages,
that was the one I'm talking about.
Were still vulnerable to sustained fire and lightsabers, keeping them far below the truly legendary armors on this list. However, their balance of agility and protection made them some of the most dangerous droids of the Clone Wars. They may not have been indestructible, but they were durable enough to make even veteran clone squads think twice before engaging. If only they weren't so expensive to produce, perhaps the Separatists would have considered making more of these units, and many battles during the war would have gone the other way. Number 9, Durasteel Armor. The backbone of armor and construction in the Star Wars galaxy, Durasteel was known for its affordability, durability, and widespread use. While it doesn't have the mystical properties of some of the more exotic materials on this list, it remains one of the most practical and versatile armors ever deployed. It was more resistant than standard steel and stronger than common alloys like titanium. Found in everything from lightsaber hilts to starship armor plating, Durasteel was known specifically for its ability to protect against kinetic energy. Darth Vader's armor was reinforced with Durasteel, providing him with additional protection against blaster bolts and physical strikes. Meanwhile, General Grievous's cybernetic body was composed of a Durasteel composite called Duranium, allowing him to withstand brutal combat and direct blaster fire.
Oh, I didn't know that.
However, Durasteel has a major weakness. Lightsabers cut through it with relative ease. While it can absorb glancing blows and heat-based damage better than most metals, it still stands no chance against a direct strike. Even so, its widespread availability made it a staple for centuries. Number 8, Ultrachrome Armor. a rare and powerful metal.
Okay, I'm not familiar with
Ultrachrome
this
was one
one.
of the few materials in the galaxy capable of resisting lightsabers without being as heavy as other entries later on our list. This unique alloy had one defining trait. It conducted energy across its surface, dispersing heat and making it nearly impossible for a lightsaber to slice through in a single strike. Ultrachrome saw use in specialized armor, particularly among the Emperor's Reich.
Who is this? I mean, oh, it looks like some sort of lightsaber staff. And on top of that, it looks like he has like 4 lightsabers hanging from his belt. But I don't know if that's for personal use or like trophies like General Grievous does.
Ultrachrome saw use in specialized armor, particularly among the Emperor's Inquisitors in Star Wars Legends. The armor's one major drawback was that if enough energy was transferred, say from a lightsaber, the entire piece of armor would melt. Despite this flaw, Ultrachrome armor provided an incredible advantage against lightsaber wielders. Number 7, Von Dune Crab armor.
Whoa,
While
what
most
is this?
armor in the galaxy was forged from metal or synthetic materials, the Yuuzhan Vong took a completely different approach, one that blurred the line between armor and a living organism. Von Dune Crab armor, worn exclusively by the elite warrior caste of the Yuuzhan Vong, was a biotechnological exoskeleton made from the shell of the Von Dune crab. Unlike traditional armor, it wasn't just resistant to blasters and melee strikes, it actively adapted and reacted in battle. Standard blaster bolts had almost no effect, and lightsaber strikes required multiple hits in the same location to burn through. Combine that with its ability to enhance the strength of its wearer, and Von Dune crab armor made the Yuuzhan Vong plus other wearers like the Sith Lord Darth Krayt among the most fearsome warriors in galactic history. Number 6, Orbalisk armor. Some armor protects its wearer. Orbalisk armor does much more.
So that's what it's
feeds
called,
on them.
Orbalisk?
This grotesque living armor was composed of parasitic creatures known as Orbalisks, which latched onto their host's body with tiny teeth, feeding off of the dark side of the Force and forming an almost indestructible shell. Unlike traditional armor, this nightmarish bio-armor was nearly impervious to lightsabers, absorbing even direct strikes with ease. This armor was most famously worn by Darth Bane, the Sith Lord who created the Rule of Two. Bane allowed Orbalisks to infest his body, covering nearly every inch of him except his face, which he covered with a special helmet and mask. The creatures provided unmatched protection, but the armor had its weaknesses, the main one being Force Lightning. If one of the Orbalisks were to be killed, they would inject chemicals into the host, killing them in a matter of days by breaking them down on a subatomic level. For any other warrior, Orbalisk armor would have been a death sentence. For Darth Bane, it was just another weapon. Number 5.
So before we go continue that one, I did not know that. So his helmet was just man-made, trying to match the look of it. But however, the body armor was Orbalisk. So it's parasitic. So one thing that comes to mind is, so it's kind of like a symbiote. I mean, I'm trying to make this as a close comparison as possible. Kind of like, you know, Spider-Man 3, the Venom symbiote suit that Peter Parker wore. I'm not saying it's as strong as that, but it was a symbiote. The symbiote basically latched onto him. It gave him enhanced strength and abilities and things like that, but latched onto him to survive. So in a way, it kind of sounds like the similar thing. It latched onto him, kind of like a parasite or symbiote, and it gave him great protection. However, it does feed off of him. So, man, that's crazy. Personally, I'm not going to choose that armor, and no.
Dark Trooper Frick armor. The Dark Trooper program
was
the
Dark Trooper was strong.
To create the ultimate combat droids and super soldiers.
I remember
Among
this episode.
Among the various phases of these deadly warriors, the Phase 3 Dark Troopers from Star Wars Legends stood apart, not just for their raw power, but for their near impenetrable Frick armor. Frick was one of the rarest and most durable metals in the galaxy, completely resistant to lightsabers. This gave the Dark Troopers a terrifying advantage in battle, making them nearly unstoppable, even blaster fire was barely effective, as the armor's composition could absorb extreme punishment.
Even the
Combined with
whistling
their
birds.
advanced combat programming and devastating firepower, Phase 3 Dark Troopers were essentially walking tanks. But despite their unmatched durability, they weren't flawless. The armor itself was incredibly expensive, which, combined with the destruction of the Arc Hammer where they were constructed, led to the cancellation of the Dark Trooper program. Number 4, Mandalorian Beskar
There we go,
armor.
Mandalorian
For the
Beskar.
Mandalorians, armor isn't just protection, it's a way of life, part of their religion. Beskar, also known as Mandalorian iron, was one of the most durable substances in the galaxy, capable of withstanding blaster bolts, explosions, and even direct lightsaber strikes. Beskar armor is what makes Mandalorian warriors so feared on the battlefield. Unlike many other armor types, Beskar doesn't weaken over time. It retains its strength across generations, often passed down through families as a sacred heirloom. Pure Beskar armor, like that worn by Din Djarin in The Mandalorian, is nearly impenetrable. While older designs were Durasteel based with some Beskar reinforcement, even partial Beskar armor provides significant protection,
Oh, so
allowing
Boba
warriors
Fett's
to
was
endure
partial
direct hits
Durasteel.
that would kill an unarmored opponent. However, Beskar is not completely indestructible. Enough force, such as repeated lightsaber strikes or focused energy blasts from weapons like the Arc Pulse
Oh
Generator,
yeah, from Star Wars
could
Rebels.
eventually damage or weaken the metal. Beskar weapons themselves could also damage it, leading to Mandalorians outlawing their creation. Despite this, Mandalorian iron remains one of the best defensive materials in the galaxy.
And the most expensive
Furthermore,
metal.
it was incredibly difficult to forge, with the methods remaining a closely guarded secret, a skill passed on through generations to keep ancient armor intact and impervious. Number 3, Cortosis Weave Armor. Cortosis is
Not
one of
familiar
the
with
rarest
this one.
and most dangerous materials in the galaxy, infamous for its ability to short-circuit lightsabers on
Cortosis
contact. This unique property made it highly sought after by those looking to counter Jedi and Sith alike. However, Cortosis wasn't perfect. While it could disable
Now, I did not watch this. I did not watch Star Wars Acolyte at all. I mean, mostly because I didn't have time. But then when I heard about the reviews and also the creator behind it and how the aim of the show was based on diversity and a certain community, I was like, oh, okay. So basically, that they didn't even focus on the story at all. So I just gave up on even watching the Acolyte. And many people said you did not waste your time.
a lightsaber with a single strike, the effect was temporary, giving opponents a chance to recover. Additionally, it offered less protection against conventional weapons like blasters and explosives. In the right hands, it could turn the tide of a battle or spell disaster for an overconfident Jedi. Unfortunately, Cortosis was incredibly hard to find, and thus very expensive to purchase, resulting in few weapons and armor being made of it. Number 2, Zillo Beast Armor. The
Right.
Zillo Beast was a living nightmare for the Galactic
Very
Republic.
powerful, and I
A
remember those
colossal,
episodes.
nearly indestructible creature from Malastare, its armored hide was so resistant that even lightsabers and heavy turbo lasers couldn't pierce it. This terrifying level of natural durability led Supreme Chancellor Palpatine to order its study, hoping to harness its secrets for the Empire's military. The Republic's scientists discovered that the Zillo Beast's scales were virtually impervious to energy-based weapons, making them a potential game-changer for armor technology. If successfully replicated, it could have revolutionized personal protection. However, the Zillo Beast was ultimately killed before its armor could be mass-produced, and the research on its scales remained incomplete. Decades later, the Empire attempted to clone the creature, proving that Palpatine never truly abandoned his ambitions. Had Zillo Beast armor ever become standard for Imperial forces, it would have rewritten the rules of warfare, rendering blasters, lightsabers, and even starship-grade weaponry far less effective.
Yeah.
Thankfully for the galaxy,
The Empire
this
would have
ultimate
won.
armor remained a lost potential. Number 1, Quantum Crystalline Armor. In the absolute peak of Star Wars
This I
armor
don't know.
technology sits Quantum Crystalline Armor, a near mythical material so advanced that it defied the laws of physics. Quantum Crystalline Armor was specifically developed for the superweapon known as the Sun Crusher by the
Sun Crusher?
scientists of the Maw installation. The armor strength would allow the Sun Crusher to survive the force of a supernova, which the weapon was designed to trigger. Its destructive capabilities dwarfed that of the Death Star, even though it was only the size of a starfighter. Han Solo once was able to ram
Damn,
the
that's
Sun Crusher
really-
straight through the bridge of an Imperial Star Destroyer without it taking any damage. It even repelled turbo laser shots
Solo
and a
did that?
glancing blow from the Death Star's prototype super laser. It's a good thing that Quantum Crystalline didn't see more widespread use by the Empire.
Sun Crusher.
It was, without a doubt, the most overpowered yet underutilized armor in Star Wars history. A lost technology that could have reshaped the galaxy forever.
Oh, he didn't do his iconic R5 out. But anyways, that was a really great video. Yeah, so the Mandalorian Beskar armor was definitely on there, and I forgot about the Zillo Beast. Man, I can't believe that. And Durasteel is the more common one, so it looks like he went from almost the weakest ones to the most powerful ones. That's how he ordered it on the top 10 armors. But what do you guys think? Like, which ones is your favorite armor? For me, I say I would choose the Beskar armor because one, it does not degrade over time. It is still powerful. It is still useful, and it's very popular as well. So I would choose the Mandalorian Beskar armor if I had to choose one of the 10. Which one would you guys choose if you had the choice? But anyways, this was a really great video and I really enjoyed it. So shout out and credit goes to R5 again, and that's all I got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And also shout out to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. So without anything else, I'll see you guys next time.